Check, check, check. 1, 2.
Good afternoon. I just want this up so badly. Okay.
She was trying to get us going.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. We'd like to call to order the Thursday, July 2nd, 2026 annual reorganization meeting, followed by a business meeting. Can we all rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to swear in our newly re-elected board member, Anne Marie Garcia. Please stand, raise your right hand, and read the words on the paper.
I, Anne Marie Garcia, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of member of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to item 3.1, and I would like to call for a motion for president of the board for 26-27 school year.
So moved. Is this when I make a recommendation?
You make a recommendation, yeah.
May I?
Yep,
Yes.
motion to
What
recommend.
do you want to say?
Motion to recommend,
Oh, motion to recommend.
so-and-so.
Oh, so-and-so? Okay, Jackie. So this is president, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to make a proposal. I think pretty much anyone on the board around this table would make a good president, with the exception of me. And so I think we're in a good position in terms of the people we have on the board. However, I think continuity is important. Next year is going to be an important year. I think we may have a difficult budget. I think that the bond construction is really kicking into gear. There will be shovels in the ground. And it's been a successful year, so I think continuity is good, and I think Jackie has done a great job and would be happy to see her continue in the role.
All in favor?
Anyone else?
Does anyone
Do we
second?
need a second first?
Yeah, second.
Anyone disagree?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay.
You call for the motion.
Oh, yeah, I call for the motion. Got it. Okay.
President
So
DeAngelis, can you please stand, raise your right hand, and read the paper in front of you?
Yes. I, Jackie DeAngelis, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of President of the Pelham Union Free School District according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm handing over the meeting to President Jackie DeAngelis.
Thank you, Valerie. Do I have a motion to nominate Vice President of Board of Education? Or do I have a nomination for Vice President of Board of Education? Anne Marie?
So moved, or I do? Who would you like to nominate?
Yeah, who would you like to nominate?
I would
I
like.
messed up.
I would like to
Sweating.
I would like to nominate Natalie Marrero to continue as Vice President. And the reason being is that she has demonstrated such a commitment to not only the board, but to the role. She's always there to step in when Jackie, as president, is unable. Any meetings I've gone to, she's right there in the meeting herself. As a representative of the board and as a parent who has committed years of volunteer service to this community. So I think we would be well-suited as a board to have her continue in this role.
I'll second that in agreement with Anne Marie and her nomination of Natalie as vice president.
I seconded that.
And I would agree with both what Will said about Jackie and what you have said about Natalie. I think together, you're a dynamic duo, and I've appreciated your leadership. And with this upcoming year, we do have a lot of things on our plate, and continuity will be really important. And you have both done such a great job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh. Would you, do you, or am I doing? Okay. Would you stand
Oh.
and,
Tell her to stand and raise
oh yeah,
her hand.
please stand and, you are standing. Raise your right hand and take the oath, please.
I, Natalie Morero, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Vice President of the Pelham Union Free School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And thank you for everyone for their support.
Okay. Do I have a motion to appoint the district clerk, the deputy district clerk, district treasurer, and deputy district treasurer?
So moved.
Second?
And do we want to read? Or,
Yeah, sure. For District Clerk, Valerie Miller.
yeah.
Deputy District Clerk would be Alex Wolf, in the absence or disability of the District Clerk. Our District Treasurer, of course, Jackie Vigil, and Deputy District Treasurer, in the absence of the Treasurer, would be Dr. Fitzgerald, the Executive Director for HR and Leadership.
Excellent. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Do you have your oath? Okay. Valerie, would you please raise your right hand and take the oath to be our district clerk?
I, Valerie Miller, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of District Clerk of the Pelham Union Free School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay. Next is Dr. Cham.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take the oath of superintendent?
I do.
Do you have it?
Valerie, do you have the oath for me? Thank you.
That's big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here.
Okay.
Can you raise your right hand?
I, Cheryl Champ, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Superintendent of Schools of the Pelham Union Free School District according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Dr. Cham.
I say thank you, and congratulations to our continuing board leadership. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with both of you these last several years, and the trust and the partnership that we've developed, I think, have just been amazing and have helped all of us as an administrative team and as a district move together in a very cohesive and aligned manner, and it makes a world of difference. So I look forward to another great year of work together.
Thank you. Okay. So, all right,
I
this
think
is still the.
a lot of the rest of this can be some
consent.
consent.
Yeah. Okay. So is there anything should we do it all, should we do it by section or?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to take 5.1 through 5.13 as a consent agenda? Okay, so these are just sort of things that we have to do at the end of a board year and the beginning of a new one.
Correct.
Does anyone have any comments or questions? They're authorizations and appointments, annual appointments. No?
Just out of curiosity, what is the official school district newspaper? Is that where we publish?
Journal News.
Indeed, but
Yes.
for
For
what purpose?
publishing of legal notices
Got it.
specifically. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So our bids,
Our public bids
Public
are
bids are
advertised
posted,
in the Aloha Journal News,
Okay.
as is our budget information. We have mandatory requirements to send it to our local paper. They don't have to print it, but we do send that to them every year. And then there's a regular published advertisement that we need to take a legal ad notice for the election every year, for the annual election.
And I guess I'll just note, there's continuity, right, of our school attorneys and our auditors.
Auditors,
And the physician.
correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
so no changes there.
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, so
Aye.
those motions carry. Oh, that was Sid, okay. Okay, next is section 6, which is approval of CSE members and Committee on Preschool Special Education members. Do I have a motion to take 6.1 through 6.9 as a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on these? No? All in favor? Aye. Okay, all of
Aye.
those are approved. Do I have a motion to adjourn the annual reorganization meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Aye.
So I will now call to order the business meeting of July 2nd, 2026. Welcome, everyone. So first off, I want to thank you to my colleagues for your confidence in electing me to serve as president of the Board of Education again this coming board year. I appreciate your trust. I look forward to continuing our work together. I also want to say that I have tremendous confidence in this Board of Education. Over the past several years, we have accomplished a great deal on behalf of our students and the community. Together, we developed a long-term capital plan and successfully passed a bond referendum. We have supported the implementation of the district's strategic plan, protected the district's strong financial position, enhanced our communication and engagement with the community, strengthened our advocacy efforts, and brought forward budgets that are fiscally responsible while continuing to invest in programs that allow students to excel across every area of school life, from STEM and the humanities to music, the arts, athletics, and so much more. As we continue to face the pressures of rapidly rising costs, this board remains committed to balancing fiscal responsibility with preserving the excellence our community expects and the students deserve. I look forward to working with my fellow trustees. Congratulations, Vice President Natalie Marrero, and Dr. Champ, and the district leadership team as we continue our focus on continuous improvement, financial stewardship, and providing one of the highest quality public educations in the country. As for this afternoon's agenda, these are business items that kind of keep the wheels turning and the lights on for the school year ahead. And while our buildings may not reopen to students until September, an enormous amount of work takes place over the summer to prepare for another successful school year. On behalf of the board, I want to thank our administrators, faculty, staff, and everyone working behind the scenes in advance for the work that comes in the months ahead before school opens. We wish everyone a wonderful, safe, restful summer, and we look forward to welcoming students and staff back in September. Okay. We can take. Okay, do I have a motion to approve 9.1 through 9.4 as a consent agenda? These are approvals for meeting minutes, May 6th meeting, May 20th meeting, May 27th, and June 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions on the minutes? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so all
Aye.
those minutes are approved. Do I have a motion to recess the business meeting and convene a public hearing on the draft district safety plan?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we are in a public hearing for the draft district safety plan.
Okay, and really what this is an annual recurring document that the district puts out every year. It's a forward-facing document, very broad as part of the SAVE legislation through the state. We are required to review this every year. We work with our consultant partners at Alteris. They've worked with all of our building emergency response teams and our safety committee on this before it's been brought to the board. If there's any updates required by the state, we make sure we capture that in this plan as well, so that we're all encompassing. And we need a 30-day public comment period, so we're opening that minimum of 30-day public comment period. The next board meeting falls before that 30-day time period, so we'll ask the board to approve this at the meeting in August, just prior to school starting.
Okay.
And it's posted on our
It's posted on
internet
a,
site
yes,
for parents to review.
yes.
Okay. And from what there, and you may have said this already, but there's not major changes.
There are.
There are not major changes from last year.
No, and the good thing is, when working with our consultant, they service many, many school districts. So more often than not, if there are changes, we many times already have these things in our plans a year or two ahead of time. So nothing that's really all too surprising. State sometimes, the last 2 years, I think they've surprised us with changes over the summer, where we've had to come back and redo it again. If that happens, we'll do that. And again, this is a forward-facing document, so there are more specific emergency safety plans for each of the buildings, but those are held in a confidential manner because they have floor plans and things like that.
Okay. Thank you. Next, there is communications and comments from the public, but we don't have anyone from the public here. So do I have a motion to close the public hearing on the draft district safety plan and convene a public hearing on the draft district code of conduct?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, so I can speak to this
Okay.
briefly. Similarly, every year we have a requirement for the board to adopt the code of conduct, comment period, et cetera, so we're bringing that before you today. The plan that is here now is the same plan that was here last year without any edits. One thing that I will say, in the coming year, we do intend to put together a committee to work through and update and revise the code of conduct. A, we have to make sure our policies, any updates on policies, that the code is in alignment with those. But B, as we've worked toward, to continue to build a culture of wellness and belonging, we've worked to strengthen our social emotional learning practices and mental health and well-being practices. We've also started to do work around restorative practices and looking at how can we incorporate more restorative practices into our work. And one of the things that we had a team of administrators doing this year was working on with some, and Tracy, you'll have to remind me, was it BOCES or state ed representatives that worked with our group on looking at some disproportionality in our data?
State education.
Thank you. State Education Department folks. We had an opportunity to work with them there to look at some areas where we were potentially heading towards some disproportionality in a disciplinary way in this particular year. Thankfully, that was only kind of a warning flag in the work of the team already. In the coming year, we're not being cited for disproportionality. So it was kind of a yellow warning light year. And we actually gained a tremendous amount out of that even though we haven't been cited for anything, we're still going to take the great work that was done that year in the coming year and look at ways that we can continue to evolve our data systems, our use of data, and also the incorporation of more restorative language in our code of conduct. That was one of the things that was pointed out to us. It's very legal, but it doesn't speak very well to the day-to-day expectations and school culture that we're looking to
I see.
infuse across our schools. So this is unamended. This is same code as last year, but do expect us to be doing some work on this next year. So when it comes to you a year from now, that we'll be able to highlight some updates and revisions.
So the code of conduct does get translated right into a student.
Yeah, plain
ham-
language version
yeah,
is
for a student handbook.
What goes into student handbook. correct.
Yeah. Was that reviewed at all in terms of like Addressing like the
Yeah.
like the culture
A
of the.
little bit. Each summer, the administrators do sit and do another read. And the last several years, the middle school and high school in particular have tried to work together and align some of the disciplinary expectations, consequences, but also applying a developmental lens to it. So things may look a little different for middle school consequences versus high school. So that work will continue, and they can change student handbooks at any time, really. Generally, you don't want to change it midstream. You don't want the rules to change on, what you're expecting students during the school year. But any given summer, you can expect some adjustments in the student handbook. But ultimately, the code legally is more, what's the word I'm struggling for? The code of conduct overrules the student handbook.
Yeah.
Yep. State law would be, I think, state and federal law is top. Then you'd have your regulations, your state regulations, your board policies. Code of conduct being it's not a policy, but actually, policies would override code of conduct if there was a conflict. State law, policy, code, and then student handbooks would come from that.
Okay, and then my last question on this, the code of conduct, does it address misuse of AI?
Misuse of technology and academic integrity are covered in it.
Right,
So
and
it
that
may not
includes AI,
explicitly,
yeah. Okay,
and that's one of the things about the codes, they tend to be more general,
right.
so that they can be more all-encompassing.
Always nice to know what to expect. So do you anticipate that any of the work that will be done could be controversial amongst any of the stakeholders, which may include students or employees or parents? Or do you think it's going to be fairly procedural?
I don't, that's a great question. I don't know if we're far enough down the line to know for sure. Generally, any changes in those kinds of things do stand to raise questions. So I think any changes, we have to be clear on the why.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I think that's also part of why it generally takes a pretty extensive review period, because you have to get some stakeholder feedback in more delicate issues.
Noted. And the stakeholders who will be reviewing this work or reviewing this document?
We have not assembled that yet.
see.
We're going to be doing, we had our end-of-year administrative retreat yesterday, 2 days ago, Tuesday. Claire did a wonderful job planning and leading that, and the whole cabinet. We each had a piece of that. So I know we've got our board retreat coming up in about 2 weeks. So that will set some direction for the year. The cabinet, we have an all-in week planned the end of July. So that's going to be our chance to actually to get to the brass tacks of questions like that. What is the big work of this year? How are we going to structure it? How are we going to accomplish it? And then, so we'll have better answers on that by the fall.
Okay. Any more? We're good with that for now? Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing on the draft district code of conduct and convene the business meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're back in the business meeting. The next is communications and comments from the public. We don't have the public here, so let's move to 12.1. Do I have a motion to approve the amount to be raised by taxes for the 2026-2027 school year?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Jim, do you want to say anything about this?
Okay, thank you. So really what the board is being asked to do right now is to authorize the tax collector to go and raise funds to support this school year's budget. The numbers that we've provided are consistent and are identical to what we provided to the voters as part of the budget process. The assessment year we're using is the one that the board selected, which was the 2025 assessment year for base proportions. And that action was taken by the board as far back, going back to September of 2025. So this is just one of those things this is obviously a business item. This is what we need to keep the district running.
Yes.
And it's just a regular thing that we do every year. And then we have a form for raising those funds that'll be passed to each of the board members for signature. And then what we do is we present that to the tax collector.
Okay. Yes, So thank you again to the community for passing the budget. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Sid. So that motion carries. Do I have a motion to take 12.2 through, I'm going to take the whole thing, through 12.78 as a consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, is there anything, anyone has any comments or questions on any of these?
Yeah.
They're the standard.
Yeah, I'll just comment on a couple. They really are, in many cases, standard contractual approvals that we have with various contracted services throughout the year. Insurance and benefits related to our collective bargaining agreements. Get down towards the bottom. Special education agreements for educating students with education with other districts. Continuing Sharon Charles as a contracted service or a social worker, providing services to our students, a variety of other support services related providers. Tutoring companies for whether it's homebound, suspension, or other required tutoring services needed throughout the year. Again, more contract services, whether it's psychological services, evaluations, even like our physical trainer that works with our athletes, et cetera. Investigation services, Whitson's, ECRA, that's our dashboard company, professional developers, approving our contract with Town Bus Company for athletics and field trip transportation, our graphic designer, different roof consulting services, financial advising services, accounting services, et cetera, a variety of those.
And the investigative services are
That is for the
For-
private investigator.
For
that
for
supports the
residents.
residency.
Yep.
Yep. He assists various levels of investigation, but also the undercover surveillance that's needed.
Okay.
Also agreements with Pelham Children's Center, Playful Wonders for before and after school
Right,
programming.
authorization to enter into those agreements where they're
Correct.
looking for additional space, so we've not finalized those numbers, but we want to work with them on that.
Right.
So this helps them continue planning.
Dignity Act coordinators, hearing officer for disciplinary hearings. School lunch prices for next year.
Good, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Again, school lunch, first breakfast, free lunch is paid for by the state, included. But if you want a second meal, we want to make sure that we're not losing money when that happens. With our food provider, they received an increase this year, and so what we've done is we've adjusted that price as well.
But the first lunch is
First,
always
first, first breakfast and first lunch is free, based on the National School Lunch Program, breakfast and lunch that we put out.
So just a quick question then for the resolution the board's voting on. So the change, for example, elementary school lunch price from $4 to $5, that's for the first lunch.
That's for the second lunch, if
That's
they
for the
choose to get a
second
second lunch.
Second lunch.
Okay.
Is the first
Right,
lunch.
the first
Got
lunch
it.
is free.
Okay.
It's always very popular pizza.
And I think
Just
it's-
wanted to make sure if we were increasing the state's
I think we pay I think we pay.
rate
the-
is what I was
The
hoping.
reimbursement.
No, I think we pay the vendor $468 per lunch, so
And that's
we're
for-
charging
through
$5.
the state reimbursement.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
And then, again, the ability to accept donations from our
Yep.
community partners who are very
Yes.
generous.
Yep, PTAs, et cetera.
Yes.
And if we were to rent our facilities for any use, there's building usage fees. With our partnership with the town, that doesn't happen a heck of a lot, but I don't know if it does, and we want to publish those prices and redo that every year.
Yep,
Right.
yep.
They going up?
They're going up. We benchmark that too with some of our partners, or not our partners, our neighboring
Peers,
districts.
yeah.
You know, when you look at the cost of turf field, what does it cost to rent? We took a look at what the county charges. We took a look at what some school districts charge. We wanted to make sure we weren't such a great deal that everyone wanted to have it here, and that it would cause work for us. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's all published in there. And we were pretty much in line with those prices anyway.
And then we have just several different side letters with a variety of different units on different collective bargaining matters. Did want to point out the final two items there, the revised calendar for next school year. The board will remember we had approved the general framework of the calendar, start dates, end days, holidays, et cetera. The addition is the early release and late start dates.
Yeah.
We did do a survey of both families as well as staff, because I think most folks know that is important professional learning time for us. So we wanted to get feedback from the staff to see how to best meet their needs and structure that learning, as well as find out from families. We recognize that it is a big ask, but what's the best way to manage for them? What's most easiest for them to manage as a family? Unfortunately, it was all over the board. Some people said early release is easier, some said late start is better, some said keep it the same, said as it was, some said make them all the same, some said none of it was doable. So it was very difficult to find any one consistent pattern there. The one thing that we did hear consistently through that is not for all families, but for some, Fridays are easier to manage if we're going to do it. So the early releases we did keep on Wednesday because that is the day that we're able to keep the faculty later. So in order to align that to the contractual time, for us, that's really the biggest bang for the buck where we can do some substantive work. We did move the 2 late starts to Fridays, hearing that theme from some of the families that Fridays would be easier to manage with work from home. Again, not for everybody. We recognize that not everyone does. We didn't want to do a early release on Friday because that, in essence, would be unproductive for just about everyone. So,
And it's not when you have the extra time.
Correct.
With
the teaching
faculty.
staff.
Yep.
Yep. So we did also try to spread them around so that it's not as much as we could, so it's not already chopping up something that was already a choppy month. So this is
Okay.
and then finally, Catherine this past year has served as our New York State School Boards Association Advocacy Liaison. I know she had expressed interest in continuing that again, so we did put that on as a recommendation. Certainly, if the board wants to, talk about anyone else stepping in that role, I know that Catherine's always open to that, but I know that she's stepped into that role very seamlessly. So we did put that on, recommending to get that appointed for her to continue in that capacity.
Yeah, we very much appreciate you taking that role.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys for your continued support in those efforts. It's important for public education.
Yes.
And our students in Pelham.
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
So, and this takes us up to which one? To what?
This is through
12.78.
12.78.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those motions carry. Do I have a motion to take 13.1 through 14.1 as a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, and here we've got just a few instructional appointments. So some of our part-time teachers, identifying what their FTE, their full-time equivalent, will be for next year. Also, a new special education co-teacher, as we're starting a kindergarten co-teach at Prospect Hill in the
Yeah.
fall. So excited to have
Very excited.
Marissa Halpin joining us. I think that is that. And also a probationary Spanish teacher coming to us for next year, Melissa Widrick, at the secondary to replace retirement.
So Melissa Woodruff was part-time this year, she'll be full-time
Thank you.
next year. And then we also hired, in the previous meeting, Carmen Quinn, who is coming to be a world language teacher next year
Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank you. So many moving pieces. Looking at the extra duty appointments, here you have a variety of coaching appointments for upcoming seasons, especially most of our fall coaching appointments there, and any also administrators to oversee our summer school programs. That'll be shared between Mr. Llewellyn, Dr. Titone, and Mr. Lau. And then finally, the non-instructional. This is terms and conditions, salary for the cabinet for next year, as well as some additional seasonal custodial workers, and some athletic supervision for the fall. And then, of course, Schedule D is 14.1.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Those motions all carried. 15.1, does anyone have new business? Catherine?
Speaking of advocacy liaison, I do have a quick update on two things related to the advocacy activities that we were engaged with this year. The first being the federal school tax credit. The one update here is that we still have time to do a take action campaign if we want to, or a voter voice campaign if we want to, against the governor opting in to this. She has indicated that she intends to opt in to this, but does want to wait until she receives more information. We don't know what more information she is waiting on, but more information from the IRS on this. The deadline to opt in for 2027 would be before the end of 2026. So she has anywhere from now until the end of the holiday season or the end of right around Christmas time to do this if she intends to opt the state in for 2027. If she doesn't, then that means we're not opted in for 2027, but it could be a 2028
subsequent years
thing.
Yep.
So she has not indicated her time plan for this, just that she wants more information from the IRS, although I'm not sure what it is. So this has been widely opposed by a lot of educational advocacy groups, public school districts, a lot of advocacy organizations and public ed advocacy organizations do oppose this. We can certainly, I know I've sent some information about this, so we can talk about it and think about it. Like for us NYSBA's opposed to it, Westput's opposed to it.
Lower Hudson Council and yep.
And I'm
NYSBA are all opposed.
sure your Superintendent's Association is opposed to it. So we can talk about this as a Board of Education if this is something we want to take an official position on, and or ask our community to also write in, because we still have time for our governor if this is something that we want to do. So I wanted to put that out there. The second thing to talk about, just a few federal updates, because while our state legislature is suspended their session is done, our feds are year-round. So it's now time to think about federal budget, and there's a few things on the table for the federal budget timing. The president has released what his intended budget is. The House Appropriations Committee has released their response to that. Senate Appropriations Committee we're still waiting on, but a couple of things for the president's budget. He proposed flat funding for Title I, modest increases for special education, and over $6 billion in cuts to federal grant programs that support education. Those are just like high-level education related. There's a lot of other things in there related to education, but these are like the highest level. House Appropriations Committee doesn't agree. They want to see $2 billion cuts to Title I, flat funding for IDEA, and even further elimination of above and beyond that $6 billion for grants. And we don't know what the Senate wants. So if there's anything that we want to do for that in terms of reaching out and sending letters, we can do that. NYSBA is also, over the course of the summer, scheduling meetings for boards of education members to meet with their congressmen. I mean, we know ours well, and I know that they know and are in agreement with us in opposing any of these, but it's always still good to meet with them, because I know that they're looking for different ways to talk about things, and so they will ask questions like, give me, in my 2-minute stump speech that I can do on the floor, I want to be able to talk about, this topic, and use kind of, they look to us to help them come up with different ways to have a really impactful statement. They look to us for data. So it's always good to meet with them. So those are what's coming up at the federal level. the board president, so once that paperwork is filed, you'll continue to get it, and the advocacy liaison will get the emails about those meetings being scheduled, and so we can certainly keep the board updated, and anybody who, I know it's the summertime, so our schedules are all kind of jumbled, but anybody who can and is willing to hop on a call, I think I want to encourage everybody to do. So I'll certainly keep you guys all updated on that. And even if it's just to listen to, because it wouldn't be just with us, it would be any Board of Education member that falls in that district for that particular congressman. So these will be bigger meetings.
And I'll just piggyback on that. I'm heading to Washington, D.C. next week for our annual AASA Advocacy Conference. So the group that I'm going with, it's superintendents from New York State, and it's AASA is national, so it'd be New York State, and there'll be folks there from all states. We have appointments over the course of next week. Unfortunately, I think the assembly is not in session, so we're meeting with a lot of staffers, but still important to have the conversation. So
Staffers want to hear about the data more than the.
exactly. So it'll be assembly, with the assembly, it's Leilota, Ryan, Riley, Stefanik, Gillen, Langworthy. Of course, George Latimer will be meeting with his staff as well. And then, looks like we also have an appointment with Senator Gillibrand's office, so we'll be making the rounds next week. So
That's great. And Senator Gillibrand's education policy person is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. So
Fantastic.
she'll ask you really good questions.
great.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
I look
Thank
forward
you.
to that
Yes,
update.
I'll definitely keep you posted.
And you guys will be talking about specific issues, or?
Yeah, usually the way the conference works is we meet on Thursday. They basically, Tuesday. We do a day of prep. They update us on exactly that. What's the latest in all of the federal policies? What's the budget proposals? Where do things stand? Where does our organization stand, and why? So that we can then be equipped to go in with succinct and clear and consistent talking points as we go to each of the legislators following. And that's where we can bring our own, here's the big issue, like E-rate, I think is one of the ones that says, here's E-rate, this is what, on the national level, what's being proposed, this is why it's a problem, this is how it affects Pelham. So that's where we can bring in our personal stories to help equip them to make the case. So,
Cool.
it'll be fun.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
doing that.
Oh, you're
And I
welcome.
look
It's fun.
forward to that update.
And it does make a difference.
It does make a difference. It does. Advocacy is a game of small
That's it.
wins
Exactly.
and small
Moving the
steps
needle.
forward.
Yeah.
The last thing I think that it's important to just talk about is the transferring of civil rights and special education programming from the Department of, under the health, mental health, or under Health and Human Services.
From the Department of Education, too. Yep.
To HHS. So HHS will take on a larger role in administering certain special education and rehabilitative service programs, while the Department of Justice will assume greater responsibility for investigating and enforcing special education-related civil rights protections. So that is the Office of OCR, Office of Civil Rights. It's now the Department of Justice will be taking a larger role in that. So we don't know how that's going to affect people, but we can assume that our special education families will be feeling really unsettled next year, because not only will they not have, at the state level, things are remaining the same, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will feel less concerned about what happens, because anything can happen, and they're reading the news at a national level, and they're hearing what's happening on a national level. Of course, all of the educational organizations, advocacy organizations, are opposed to this change. It's happening anyway. NYSBA released a statement saying education is not a collection of interchangeable parts to be scattered across Washington. You cannot separate a student's learning from their well-being or their civil rights. And I do think that's true. And so I'm saying, I'm bringing this up only because I do think it's important to understand all of what's happening, and that even though not directly impacted, families in Pelham, families in New York State will be feeling unsettled about a lot of things. And I know that all of us have been feeling unsettled about a lot of things in the last 2 years. But specifically for our special education families, this will make them feel unsettled, even if in Pelham Tracy and her team and,
Right.
our Pelham team is amazing, and we are not, mixing things up for our families, it still doesn't mean that they won't feel concerned about the overall sort of happenings
Larger
in
picture.
special education that's impacting them. And so with things that we are doing and saying, when it's going to be impacting that group of people or of our community, we would be remiss if we did not
Keep that in
remember
mind.
that this is also going on.
That's a great point.
If I could just say that the week of July 12th, I'll be going to the conference in Syracuse for the New York State Council for Special Education Administrators. So I'm sure that it'll be a topic of discussion. I think some of the protections that exist for families at the state level won't go unchanging. I think the bigger question is more going to be about funding and how that will look as IDEA changes to HHSA. And as far as, ADA and the 504 from OCR going to Department of Justice. So I'm sure it'll be a topic of discussion, and I'll be able to update and give more information at the July 29th Board of Ed meeting.
Great.
Great.
That would be
Thank you.
great, Tracy. Thank you for keeping us updated and for attending.
I have one more item, too.
Sure.
Very quickly. Just a heads up, as we look at the calendar for next year, I should have mentioned it on the calendar. I know earlier in the year, we looked at having graduation on June 26th of next year, and then we
Yes.
moved back to the 19th. That also presents some challenges. It is a federal holiday, it's Juneteenth. So Alex and I were talking with Mr. Llewellyn today. He's going to be putting out a survey to see next year's senior parents and students to consider, since both Saturdays seem problematic one way or another.
Yeah.
Going to get some feedback on possibly moving graduation to a weeknight. I know Pelham traditions are hard to change, so we wanted to not do something like that without getting some kind of feedback. We think it could be good and it could be wonderful and all the same experience just later in the day. That could help us to, I know there was a lot of concern about having graduation that late.
Yes.
But then also there's definitely complications around having it on the 19th as well. So just want to get some feedback, more to come, but don't be surprised if you see that survey. We're trying to be very thoughtful about putting it in the place that we can honor our students the best and honor everyone in our community the best we can.
Yeah.
More to come.
Okay.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you. Next is communications and comments from the public. We don't have anyone from the public here this afternoon, so I'll take a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you
everybody.
very
Yay, happy
much.
Everybody.
Yay, Happy 4th of July, yes.